You're listening to Lisa Camarillo with Phil Long Toyota of Trinidad, where we are Trinidad, where service meets soul. Let's get started. Look who showed up today, or shall I say, flew in today.
Hey, Lise.
Hey.
How are you?
This is Kevin Shaughnessy.
Hey, I'm Kevin Shaughnessy. I'm President and CEO of Phil Long Dealerships, and I'm here in beautiful Trinidad, Colorado today at our favorite Toyota store in the entire group.
Well, after all, we are the only one, but I believe that we still are one of the favorites.
Yeah, you might be the only one, but if we had 100 Toyota stores, I think you'd still be the favorite.
I
this
love
store,
that.
You have created a culture in this store that when I walk in here, there's a feeling when you walk in a dealership, right? And it's not always good, but at your store, it's always good. People are smiling, it's welcoming. You've created a truly environment of hospitality.
Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from you, Kevin. We've known each other for a long time. And one of the greatest honors that I've been able to see is you're now the president and CEO of Phil Long Dealerships.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
you're so big now.
yeah, I'm not really sure how that happened. You know, it was 30 years ago. We were working in Albuquerque, New Mexico together, and I think you were 12, right?
Yeah, 12 was when I did start in this business.
You're probably
yes.
12 then 30 years ago, but yeah, it's hard to believe that 30 years ago we were both working in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the Ken Johns Automotive Group.
Yep.
I was at the Lincoln store over on Lomas, and I think you were over at West Side.
West Side Chrysler Jeep.
Out on Coors Boulevard in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And, 30 years later, our journeys, they separated. And then, how long ago did you come to Phil Long?
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years ago you came here, and I got here just a few years ahead of that. I've been here for 19 years now.
Wow.
And, but we started working together again, and, I was up in Denver, and you were down here, so we were still far apart, weren't working directly together. But I remember telling Mike and Jay Chamino, what a great find they had in you, that you had a great reputation and you were just a diamond, and I knew that you were going to make this store special. And when you got here, it was not this, right?
No, it was not. It looked like we were in a makeshift gas station when I got here. I questioned every day what was happening.
Yeah, well, I kind of think it was a makeshift gas station, and then it upgraded to becoming a weed store, right?
Yes, and then we had to move.
You had to move when you got kicked out by when the cannabis industry took over Trinidad for a little while. You had to move, and then you went out to a temporary facility. But while in the temporary facility, you and Jay and Mike planned this, right?
Yes. Yeah, and this took quite a bit because we had to not just get our property. We actually got turned down. Our property got turned down 3 different times because our property had to be approved by both the city and by Toyota.
Yeah.
And so this took a long time just to get the approval of our property, and then 3.5 years later we were able to move. So we moved here in October of 2017.
I remember when you moved in here. You and I were talking about that. You were trying to figure out how you were going to grow into this facility.
How am I going to handle this debt, I believe was the phone call I made. Which, by the way, what you don't know, my friendship with Kevin really went back as far as, when I came here, he kind of inadvertently became a mentor for me, which I've always just valued and appreciated so much. And one of his mentoring advices was double it, and then he sent me a whole big barrel of double bubble.
Yeah, well, we were working through the math of this new facility and what it was going to cost, because, like all things, Jay didn't go small, right?
No.
He probably could have very easily built a facility for a lot less money.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been the pride point. And I think it's worth mentioning that Trinidad, Colorado is Jay Chamino's hometown. So this place is special to Jay.
Yeah.
And it was important to him to have really the pride of the Phil Long organization, to have, what was really at the time, and probably still today, the nicest facility in the entire Phil Long group is right here in downtown Trinidad, Colorado, but nice costs money. And Lisa I remember she was on the phone going, well, how are we ever going to pay for this? So we were like doing all the math, and I think we came up with that, you got to grow your business by like 91.2%. But that's not a good rallying cry to take the mountain, right? We're good at 91.2, so I said, just double it. Just double it. So I went on Amazon.com, which you could do now, and I ordered a barrel of double bubble gum. And I had it sent to Lisa, and I said, just put this on your desk, and every single person that walks in here, give them a piece of double bubble gum and say, whatever you're doing now, do twice as much, because that's what it's going to take.
Do more of that is another saying that you always say.
Yeah, just do more of that. Well, I lifted that from my good friend, Dr. Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, whatever you're doing, just do more of that.
Well, I've always been so grateful for your mentorship, just in all roles, because you didn't have to mentor me. You weren't getting paid to mentor me by any means. Obviously, unless I, would make you some green chili every once in a while.
Yeah.
But just being here in Trinidad is just a different thing. Phil, what I really want to just say is, Philong Toyota of Trinidad, we are Trinidad. And when we're asked what else could we do or would we serve in a different capacity, I can't think of a better way to serve Trinidad but then through this Toyota dealership. I mean, we do so much more than just sell cars. And selling cars is just the highlight. It's the excitement. And we're so honored that we have just a great facility and a wonderful brand to do it with. And I know you're a Ford guy, but when you come here, I always have to send out the nicest Toyota to pick you up.
You do. If you cut me, I might bleed a little blue, and I admit that. But Toyota's not a bad brand either. Matter of fact, I think it's the #1 selling vehicle in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
And it's a great brand. It's a great product. And this is a great store. Matter of fact, people probably don't know this, and maybe people don't even care, but Lisa's store has the second highest market penetration of any Toyota store in the entire Western U.S. And what that means is when you have a dealership, they're franchised, and they go into a market area, and you get assigned an area and a percentage of the population, and then the manufacturers measure when people buy new cars, what percent buy Toyotas, what percent buy Fords and Chevys and Hondas and BMWs. And Toyota in the state of Colorado has about a 13% market share. So
right.
About 1.3 out of every 10 new cars sold in the state are Toyotas, and Fords are second in there, about 12 something right there, and Subaru probably doesn't surprise people, is real close to, and these are all great brands on the Philong banner. So we're very proud of that we carry the top brands in the state with Toyota being #1. But remember, if the state's at 13%, Lisa's store here is 37%.
Yeah.
Like, she is triple the state, and it's the second highest in the Western U.S. And I met with the Toyota leadership recently, and I told them, I said, we want to be 50% plus. That if half the people in Lisa's market area, when they get a new car, if they're getting a Toyota from Lisa, then everybody else can get in line for the second half. And I'm not greedy. I don't want the other half. They can have that. We just want the first half.
I thought it was really funny because I got that phone call from the Toyota execs, and they were like, hey, so your boss, he was real excited about your 37%, but it just wasn't enough. I laughed. I said, let me guess, 50? And that was before you called me, because you're always on that, what can we do? How can we reach that next level? And I think that's what makes the car business so fun and so challenging, is it doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter what kind of town we're in. And I always tell that to my salespeople there, because they always want to say, oh, but they have 1 million people in their town, and they have 300 dealerships.
Yeah.
We have one.
Yep.
And we are it. So when I say Philong Toyota of Trinidad, we are Trinidad. I mean, we're it.
You really are. But I love the fact that your car dealership is really a conduit of service to the community.
Yeah.
And the car dealership is just a vessel, but what you really do is you serve the community, and that's so aligned with the principles that Jay Chamino had, and here especially in his hometown. But there was a time when I asked Jay about the larger business, and I wasn't trying to convince him to do so, but things were particularly tumultuous and rough for a period of time. And I asked Jay, I said, why wouldn't you just sell this, and then you could divide up the pile of money rather than all these interconnected businesses, because Jay doesn't just have car dealerships.
No.
Right? I just walked through the marketplace over there, and we've got a beautiful food mall right here in Trinidad, Colorado. If you're local, you know it. If you're not local, come on down. It's pretty cool. We got a hotel just over my right shoulder. We got beautiful, the nicest Hilton Garden Inn in the country is right there.
Yeah.
Got commercial real estate. I walked through the Champions building this morning and looked through there, and it's some of the most beautiful commercial real estate. So Jay has all these interconnected, different types of businesses that are just really
Right.
enmeshed. But I asked him, I said, why wouldn't you just, because trying to separate some of this stuff is hard. Why wouldn't you just sell it and split up the money? And, he gave me a great answer. He said, first thing is, he said, I don't need the money. Right? True. Jay didn't need the money.
No.
And Jay didn't lead an extravagant life, but he did a lot of good in his communities. The second reason was he said he wasn't looking for the easy way. And he said that he hoped that at the end of his life someday it would never say on his tombstone that he took the easy way. And, God bless
But
him.
it does say he did it my way, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want the easy way, but he wants it my way. And that was played at his memorial service. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the house when
No.
that happened. But the third thing he said was he needed this organization kind of as a machine or an army to be able to accomplish the things that he wanted to accomplish. He wanted to be of service to this community in particular. He bought his boyhood church, Mount Carmel, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and completely restored it, renovated it, jacked up a stone building and put a basement underneath it. Like, who does that, right?
Right.
And he turned it into a community health and wellness center. He put medical clinics in there. He had behavioral health counseling that wasn't available prior to Jay putting that in. He had wellness services in there that didn't exist in Los Animas County.
No.
And Jay put that in over there, and he knew he couldn't do those things without this. And so you're not here to sell cars. You're here to build health clinics and renovate the town and renew things and lift things up. And just the vessel you do it in is a Toyota store. But it's a organization of service. And I think you and your store get that maybe better than anyone else in our organization.
So, it's funny you say that. When I was interviewing for this job, which was really interesting, they sent me this thing. They go, "Oh, we want you to send us your resume." I said, "Well, you already had that." And I remember the person on the other line said to me, "No, we need your philanthropy resume." And I'm like, well, luckily I could figure that one out because I was very giving and a large community philanthropist in the community I lived in, but nothing like what I do here. So I typed one up and I sent it to him. And I remember sitting in his office, and it was really an interesting day because I'm sitting there, and I came to this town, and I thought it was a mistake that they put me up in this town. So I had to go to Springs, and I sat in Jay's office, and right to my right was the statue of St. Joseph, which I was like, okay. And I remember telling him that, thank you for bringing me up, but, this just isn't what I was trying to do. And he goes, "Lisa," and I remember, because he grabbed my hand, he goes, "Lisa, I am looking for somebody that knows how to wrap their arms around a town. And by the way, sell some cars."
Yeah.
It wasn't that traditional interview of, so what, how much can you sell, or your sales penetration, and what would you do to train, and, what could you bring into this arena? It was, I want somebody that can wrap their arms around a town, and by the way, sell some cars.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving that meeting, and my husband just grabbed my hand, and he put his head to my head, and he goes, "It looks like we're moving to Trinidad, honey."
Yeah.
And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, this is where you're supposed to do it. This is the big job." And I, of course, in the car business, I'm always thinking the big job is, the $1 million store or a month, and crazy car business thinking. And this is the big job. The big job is serving the community. The big job was creating something that I didn't know was my part of my dream, by serving a man's legacy that he was trying to create.
Yeah.
And it turned out to kind of be my dream too.
Yeah.
So that was
But
kind of
also
cool.
look what, think about what you came here for. You came into a derelict, defunct gas station on the side of the highway that at one point later would upgrade to be a weed store. Right? And then you relocated for 3.5 years while this came out of the ground.
Yeah.
But then you came in here and you got this store. Really, you double bubbled it. You doubled what you were doing out there. And in the process of that, you achieved Toyota's highest honors. The store is a multiple-time President's Award-winning dealership,
Yeah,
which are Toyota's
4
highest.
years.
Yeah, and you and Joe have gotten to get on airplanes and fly to some of the best places in the world with some of the biggest Toyota dealers in the world. And by the way, you're not an employee here. You're a Toyota dealer. You're a partner in this business.
Yeah.
And when you go to those meetings, you don't go there as a general manager or a sales manager. You go there as a Toyota dealer.
Yeah.
And your badge is as a Toyota dealer, and you've become a Toyota dealer, and I'm just so proud of you. You know, back when you were a 12-year-old finance person in Albuquerque working with me, who'd ever thought that we'd become dealers?
Well, I know you and I talked many times about how many times we thought we should quit this organization, quit this industry. I need to move on, or I mean, just so many different things.
It was an easy industry to quit at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we found the fun.
Yeah, I know we did. And by the way, I'm grateful, to this day, to Ken Johns and his organization. I mean, what a great training ground.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that was truly an organization dedicated to excellence. I mean, I stumbled into it. I literally stumbled into it. I couldn't find the mall. I was going to apply for a job at the mall, and I couldn't find the mall in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I had a help wanted newspaper ad. You can Google that, kids, or ask ChatGPT. There are things that used to be out in paper with jobs in them, right? and so I had a newspaper, and I saw it said Ken Johns. I saw a sign that said Ken Johns. I was like, oh, there's a match. I'll go in there. But I happened to wander into an organization that was absolutely committed to excellence and committed, to training their people, and I was just very, very lucky, and that was 1990.
So, Ken Johns was one of those people, those iconic owners that really, I think, produced some of the best leaders that we've seen come out of New Mexico, came out of his stores, the foundation of that.
They're all over the country now.
Yeah.
And many of them are car dealers, and many of them are running dealerships,
Yep.
and most of the people that we work with are still active, in the industry somewhere at a high level.
Yeah.
Which I think says a lot.
Yeah. And their expectation of success and what they do is all driven off of those foundational rules that we learned when I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was, it's been a great journey. And then, we both left Ken Johns at some point, and we went to other organizations on our way here. And, we picked up things, and I didn't know it at the time, and you may not have known it at the time, but everything we were doing was preparing us for this.
Absolutely.
We were gaining knowledge, we were gaining experience, we were learning what to do, we were learning what not to do. I learned a lot of what not to do along the way in my journey.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, but now here we are, and we get to do it. We get to be of service to others, and hopefully when we do it right, it makes a great difference. And when we do it really right, we'll get more than half, right?
Yeah.
50%.
And now we got to double it again.
Yeah.
We that's our goal, and I think that really serving our community, doing the things that are right, we can't just, our town is small, so by doubling it, we've got to reach outside of that. We got to go outside of our boundaries of just Trinidad, and that's how we double it again.
Yeah, and that's where you come in. Come to Trinidad. Come see Lisa.
And drive away.
Get a new Toyota. We'll give you a free piece of double bubble gum when you come in.
And we'll probably put you up at a hotel next door.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful Hilton Garden Inn right next door. If you come here on a Saturday, you can do yoga in the park with Lisa.
I do teach that.
It's a whole experience here in Trinidad.
Well, I'm so grateful that you came in today. I know this wasn't your plan, but you're always camera ready, so it worked out.
Every time I come here, I'm surprised. Most of the time, it's positive, right? But every single time I walk into Lisa's store, she's doing something. There's some sort of a community event going on. Today, it happened to be, I walked in, there's a film crew, and there's a podcast going on, but there's always something going on here, and I'm not surprised to find just something new and surprising here today. But thank you for having me.
Well, thank you.
Great being here.
I appreciate it. So, as you know, this is our first podcast, and we're looking at Philong Toyota of Trinidad, and we are Trinidad. We house Trinidad Community Foundation right here. That is a nonprofit that Jay Chamino actually helped start, and that was a creating so that he could mentor small businesses in Trinidad. And we actually vet many grants, and we really try to empower, teach, and help the community not just with a financial leg up. We really try to immerse ourselves and help people get there. So that's our first one.
Yeah. Did it.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.
We'll see you soon.